Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Angie.
And together we are TwinFinity.
We're twin flames in union, back to answer more of your questions. We apologize for the delay. This is the same list of questions that we got a couple of weeks, maybe a month ago now. I don't even remember.
I think it's been about 3 weeks.
Okay. So here we are, back to answer the rest of them as promised. We said we would, and we are.
This is kind of neat to actually be only 3 weeks. Normally we're a month, so this is
true.
Nice
That's
to be
true.
back
we're
and right
earlier than normal, I guess.
right onto this same list. It was a really good list.
Yes, we had 3 full pages, and there was just no way we could cover them all. So we had to do another video, and here we are. So you're going to be our asker, reader, question person again, like you usually are?
Okay, yes. And these have all been kind of sorted for me. I've got to follow a few little prompts here.
I'll help you.
I love this because I don't pre-read. I've said this many times before. I'm going to say it again. I like to just dive right into it. So diving right in. Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Right off the bat.
First one's right for Rob.
Rob, I want to hear from a man's perspective. Angie, you can comment too.
Oh,
according to this.
Because I will.
Oh, you said you were thinking about leaving your relationship with Karmic too, but you didn't until you reconnected with Angie again. I'm not sure, but I think that men have more difficult times leaving a relationship than women. My twin is not in love with his wife for many years. I think he likes her like a sister, and they've been together for many years. How does it feel to live with someone that you just don't want to be around all the time anymore? As soon as I realized I didn't want my husband anymore, I asked for a divorce. I just couldn't sleep with his presence around. I did not feel good, and I can't imagine how someone can stay in an uncomfortable marriage. Well, I know that one of the reasons he is with her is because he is used to the situation and because of the business and properties that they have together. Yep, that can be one.
Yes, for sure.
What do you think why some men think they did not get married to get divorced? Is the feeling of failure and that you couldn't make your marriage work something that scares people? I've never had this kind of feeling, so I'm asking from a male perspective. Thank you. Well, okay, put me on the hot seat right off the bat. I can only speak from my experience. And my experience is that as much as I looked into the distance when I was in my Karmic 2 relationship, and every so often I'd say to myself, am I going to be here in 20 years? And the answer was, probably not. At the same time, I was not in a bad relationship. I was not in an unloving relationship. I was not in a brother-sister relationship. So there was many things about the relationship that were still comfortable, but at the same time, there was some stumbling points that were not comfortable. So it was sort of a Jekyll-Hyde kind of mix. And there was still plenty of good going on, so it wasn't like I was disgusted with the relationship. It just didn't feel permanent to me. But at the same time, I didn't have any direct motivation to leave. I kind of wanted to, but I didn't have any specific place to go. I was thinking maybe I'd just bunk in with a couple of people that I barely knew. I wasn't like I needed to run. It wasn't like my sanity was going off the deep end. I had other things going on in my life too. First, my mom and then my dad were also sick, like terminally sick. And so I didn't really want to upset them at that time either. So yes, I was thinking of others other than myself, but that all of a sudden did turn around and go the other direction when it finally came time to put an end to that relationship. I can completely understand why business situations or family situations or judgment from friends, that was a big one for me because my karmic 2 and myself, we were friends with 3 other couples who we hung out with regularly, and I was about to blow up that 8-person group if I ever ended the relationship with karmic 2. And of course, I wouldn't be doing it from any point of view other than being the bad guy. So I was looking at all sorts of different judgment, and I'm a little bit of a people pleaser. I do care about what other people think. I don't like to rock other people's boats. I'm okay if I blow myself up sometimes, but I'm not okay hurting others. And so there was a whole lot of pressure to make sure that if I was going to do anything that was absolutely nutso, according to everybody else, and maybe even a little bit to myself, that I would need to do it in a sort of a controlled way, a planned way, a way that at least had a future to it, not just step out into the wild unknown. And as much as Angie was learning about twin flames, I was not. Right up to the very end. As much as I was reconnecting with her, I didn't know that we were twin flames. I didn't even really much consider that we had any relationship value for getting back together. I was just rebuilding a friendship that I was very happy to have back. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like I was choosing between one person or another. I was just building a friendship, trying not to blow a bunch of other friendships up without some sort of a plan, and therefore breaking away from karmic 2 was a very slow process. It was basically a 4-year process for me before I had enough ammunition and motivation and understanding to know that it was finally the right time to do it.
I'm going to give a quick 5D, because I'm always the 5D person, perspective on it. Even though our 3D human ego self doesn't understand or remember or know consciously, the 5D soul self always knows the bigger plan, always remembers the bigger picture. So it knows when it's time to move on or not move on. So, I think there's a question further down, too, that we're going to answer where somebody's saying, like, how come my person isn't, like, choosing me when I'm ready to choose them? It's because they know they're not done with their partner. They might not know consciously that, but on a higher level, their soul knows it's not time. So trust that your twin is where he needs to be, doing the work that he needs to do with his karmic relationship. And when divine timing is right, they will part ways. However it happens. It might be a natural thing. It might be things blow up. Who knows? Everybody's path is different. But divine timing is magical. And it will work out the way it's supposed to in the right flow.
One of my favorite words is feelings. I feel without consciously feeling. Yeah, a lot of times.
Yes.
I call it intuition, if you wanted to throw a 3D word onto it, but really what it is it's being in touch with deeper understandings. And it took a long time for the deeper understanding to say it is finally time. But it also took a big push from Angie to understand that. When it finally was her time to tell me about twin flames, I was completely ready to understand why I was so excited and comfortable to have her back into my life. It was a little unnerving. In fact, I was giving myself heck for being overly happy because I was still in a committed relationship. So it took a combination of the karmic 2 relationship being ready to break, the curiosity and understanding of why my friendship with Angie was always so special to me, and the information, the understanding of why it was so precious. Those 3 things together finally created the courage and the need to step on. And once I had all that feeling together, then it became really easy. But without all 3 of those ingredients, it wasn't time. It just wasn't right. And I'm patient. I'm a very patient person. And I've learned over the years to wait sometimes, even though it doesn't feel good to wait. If you wait till it does feel good, it's a little bit better.
Yep.
It's a little hard to rush.
Yep. Good answers. All right, now we're going to get into the sex questions. Are you ready?
Oh, is that what those markings are?
That's what the little heart means. So we're going to do this one and this one because they kind of tie in with the whole...
It seems to me I skipped this one question last time, right at the end of last time. I think I got big wide eyes. And
you decided we should talk about it, then we still didn't talk about it. So.
Still haven't talked about it.
Nope, we're just diving in.
Okay. Well... Everything here is written in blue and black, but it looks like we're going to be stepping into shades of gray here for a moment.
Are we going to talk about that movie?
No.
Darn.
Is making love with your twin much better or different from making love with other soulmates and karmic relationships? How is it different? I can only imagine that it and feel it in 5D, but I never had a chance to be with my twin. Okay, sounds like that I'm the first one breathing, so I guess I'm going to be the first one answering.
Oh, good. I'm so curious to know what your answer is. Ken, we have not talked about this, so I am really
in trouble if I say one squeak the wrong
direction.
direction.
I'm afraid I'm going to be in trouble because I have an answer that might be like, some people might go, what? Wait a second.
Well... Being with your twin is an ultimate love. And I don't want to talk too much about my past, but I've had a little bit of chance to learn from my past because there hasn't just been one or two people in my past. I've learned that, I'll say it, good sex doesn't necessarily come from good bodies. It comes from good minds and good love. Mm-hmm. And if you are really connected with someone, especially 5D, but also with that very, very respectful 3D, regardless of many other factors, it's going to be what you want, regardless of what it truly ends up being. So therefore, if you're getting exactly what you want out of being connected with somebody, of course it's going to be exciting. It's something that you want more often and appreciate and enjoy and want to keep. So, yeah. Is it much different? Yes, it is. It is. It's far more respectful. That's a word that I want to say.
That's interesting.
Respectful. Less selfish. I'm a little bit of a giving person, but I'd love to make a very patient love when it comes to Angie. No 10 minutes, no 15 minutes. If we don't have an hour on the clock, it's almost like we wait for a different evening.
Yeah, totally.
Because there's no hurry. There's no hurry.
Hallelujah for Sundays.
Yeah, non-work days.
Need time.
Yeah, when the alarm goes off 45 minutes before I leave for work, that's not an hour.
No.
Sometimes a little late for work, but that's another story. There's another question that's linked to that one. Should I read it too, and then maybe let you comment, or do you have a comment you want to say right away?
I'll read the other one, and then I'll answer. I'll try and answer both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Says, hi, Rob and Angie. I hope this isn't too personal. I have heard that when twin flames have sex, that it brings up a lot of things to be healed. So often you have an intense and intimate moment, then run for healing. Is that something you think was going on early in your connection? Thanks.
Okay, I'm going to answer the first question first, and then I'll answer this one too, because it was me that had the problem way back in 1997 with us. And so, yes, I was the runner back then, so I'll answer that. But as far as the first question about twin and 5D versus soulmates and karmic partners, this is where I hope I'm not going to get myself into trouble with anybody, you guys or him. I don't think so. But I personally think soulmates and karmic partners get a bad rap in this whole thing. Everybody wants to be with their twin, and everybody's like the soulmates and the karmic partners. Meh, I don't want them. I want my twin. What I think is, much like Rob said, good sex comes from good love. So if you have a connection with someone else, does it make the making love any better, any worse than a twin? No. In my opinion, 5D is 5D. No matter if it's with a karmic partner, a soulmate, a twin flame, it doesn't matter. Because again, and I left this here for this very reason, if you remember this from last time,
I wondered why this was here again.
we are all this same energy. So even though with our twin we're connected very differently than we are with everybody else, we still come from this same energy. So when you connect in 5D with anybody, a soulmate, a karmic partner, or a twin, you connect with that oneness. So when we learn that we are all one, you can have great sex, great lovemaking with anybody. And again, not to be too personal, and this, Rob and I talk at length about our other relationships and the fact that we don't have any harbored feelings of jealousy or insecurity. My karmic partner and I had very deep connected times, and it was during those times that we remembered our past lives. We've shared through our story videos that, we remembered 3 past lives together. It was always during making love, because you're connected in that deep way where you forget this body, this here and now, this moment. You remember the oneness. But I've also obviously had those experiences with you. I mean, I saw my first angel. I've never really shared it in our story video when exactly I saw my first angel, but it was in the middle of us making love. We had to actually stop because this angel appeared, and I'm like, kind of distracted. That was very amazing.
You talk about patience. I had to share Angie with an angel.
Yeah, it was interesting. My angel just appeared as we're making love, and I'm like, I don't know what to do right now. I'm a little distracted talking to an angel who's talking to me. So again, though, 5D sex, and I don't even like to call it sex when you call it 5D, because to me sex is, not that sex is bad, but sex is just raw and real, and making love is so much more. That's exactly what it is. You are literally making love. You are joining not just two bodies, but 2 souls to become one. Whether you're joining twin flame souls to become one soul again, or whether you're joining a karmic partner, a soulmate souls, and becoming one again, it doesn't matter. To me, making love is connecting on a soul level. And when you get that energy with someone, it's magical, whether they're a twin flame or not, in my opinion.
It's something that I always think about is how many people would long for a soulmate relationship. As twin flames, we seem so willing to cast our soulmates aside.
Yeah.
But yet, there's so many other people that don't have a twin available to them that would long for what a lot of us as twins already have.
Yeah.
So, they're all precious connections.
Yes. And I think they should all be honored.
There's reasons, I suppose, why karmic won for me and I were apart together and apart together and apart together.
Yes.
When I wasn't or when she wasn't in another relationship, we did get back together, and there was good times for us too. But I was to eventually learn that she was a very strong soulmate for me as well.
Yep.
So, yeah, they're all respectable.
And just to add another piece to that, I think also you have good lovemaking with somebody when you have a connection with yourself. That's where it starts. When you have that deep love, deep respect, and deep honor for yourself, then you can connect with someone else in that way. If you don't have that for yourself, then it doesn't matter if it's your twin. You're not going to have that energy. It doesn't matter if it's a soulmate, a karmic partner, a stranger on the street. It's all about having the connection within first, and then you can share it with someone else. So I think that's a key to it as well. Now, in regards to the second part,
a lot of things to be healed when twin flames connect and have sex. Yep, that that can happen. That could really happen.
I was triggered big time when we were first together in 1997. I thought I was totally healed from sexual abuse, 4 years of counseling, and I figured I had it licked and I had everything dealt with. And oh my God, I don't even think we were actually like having sex yet. And I was already completely, so much coming up. But then when we started making love, oh my God, the flashbacks I was having, you were like a freaking saint. He helped me heal more than anybody. I mean, not to say anything bad about counseling. I did a lot of work in counseling. But the biggest healing I had was from him, because he would help me work through the flashbacks as they would come. We'd be in the middle of making love and have to stop because I'd be completely triggered. It was brutal. So yes, if you have things to heal, absolutely, your twin flame is going to trigger all sorts of stuff. Whether it comes up during lovemaking or any other time, it doesn't matter. But yes, for sure, you know, regarding this question in regards to sex, absolutely. If you got stuff to deal with, boy, that's when it's going to come up. Because that's when you're the most raw, not only physically, because you're naked, but you're naked emotionally and spiritually. Intimacy, right? We've talked before in our story videos about intimacy. Into me see. So when you're letting somebody in to your deepest core, if you've got stuff in your core that hasn't been healed, it's coming out. So yes, that is absolutely what happened with us back in 1997. Huge triggering.
I kind of relate it to, here I go with an analogy.
You're good at your analogies.
With digging into yourself, into your core, with the difference between a garden shovel, little garden shoveling, versus a big bucket on the end of a big construction piece of machinery. If you're going to dig deeper with a stronger, big relationship, you're going to dig up more boulders and things that you don't really want to dig into. So the deeper the connection, the deeper the digging, the more it's going to find.
Yep. I think I'm done. Are you done on the sex question?
I think I am.
Okay.
I'm sure somebody else is going to think up of another angle to ask a similar question, but that's why there's going to be more videos.
I just wanted to, one last comment before we move on. We talked in our last question and answer video about Lee and Sherry Patterson because somebody asked a question relating to them. And for those of you that resonate with them and watch their videos, or maybe if you don't watch their videos but you're interested, they actually just did a 2-part series about sex and questions around sex and lovemaking and twin flames and all the dynamics. So it might be interesting for you to listen to their 2 videos just to get different perspectives. Because, of course, we all share from our own personal experiences and everybody has their own. So I think it's great to watch many different people's stuff and learn from everybody. So that's my thoughts.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, sorry to interrupt. You can carry on.
The next one is actually 2 questions that are linked together. This time I'll read both questions together and see if there's any different bits we can throw in.
Perfect.
Okay, when you were apart, did you feel when the other felt sadness, anger, or feel the other was doing something like being intimate with someone else, having a drink, etc.? The second question ties into first about telepathy. Could you have conversation or hear your twin in your mind? That's an interesting question. Now, the linking question is, you know how they say that we can feel our twin flame? Did you guys feel each other when not together physically? If so, how do you know? Can you talk about if you two shared dreams? Okay, this is all about connection when not physically in the same area.
Yes.
It's about telepathy or, again, my favorite word, feeling. Did you want to go first or do you?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take this one first.
Okay, you'll take this first. And if there's anything left over, I'll throw in a comment.
Yeah. So for us back then, I don't know if we consciously felt things, but we did feel things because we would even back, a long time before we knew we were twin flames, we would have what we still call twin flame moments, although I shouldn't say still call. We didn't call them that then because we didn't know we were twin flames. But, for example, I wouldn't have talked to him for maybe a month or two, and then I would call him, and he would be like, oh my God, I was just thinking about you 5 minutes before you called. And TF moment, that's what we call them now. So obviously we were feeling each other, we were connected without knowing we were connected, but were we ever conscious of, hey, you're having a drink or you're feeling sad, or I don't know if we had that, because it's not like we, there might have been times where I felt sad but was like, why do I feel sad? But I didn't know he was, because it's not like I was chatting with him going, hey, do you feel sad? So I don't know if we had a lot of that, or if we did but we didn't know it because we didn't know about our dynamic for so long.
I think the experience we've had together is very, very different. We're almost, I'm going to say, polar opposite.
Some ways we are.
I notice when we're not connected. Like if Angie is thinking of me on a regular basis, I feel just a little bit of connection, like I'm not alone. But if she is extremely distracted and gone doing something else, not thinking of me at all, I sense that emptiness.
Oh, cool.
And that is when I will go, hi, how is your day going? I'll text something. Just as a, hi, are you out there? Or have you just completely disappeared off the grid? So I don't always notice when she's trying to communicate with me, but I do notice a lot of times when she's missing.
So are you referring more to the telepathy part?
Yes.
Okay. I was going back to when, like, long time ago, only because I wrote a note here about, I think it was, is that the one, number 24? Yeah, when our number 24 story video, the blessings of not twin flames, the blessings of soulmates and karmic partners, I had shared that Rob and I weren't really together anymore, but we were sort of in that place of sort of together, sort of not. And I was feeling sad and not even knowing why, and then I just, out of the blue, called him, not even thinking anything about, my sadness connecting to him. But then he told me he was considering dating somebody, and then it was totally clicked for me that, I was feeling sad because I was feeling that he was going to be moving on from me. So again, I still didn't really connect the dots of that back then, but that's what I was kind of referring to back then, that, even before we knew we were twin flames, we had weird things like that, but we weren't really aware of it then. Now, though, we've had lots of times where I'll text him and say, I'm just kind of miserable today, and I don't really know why. And he'll be like, yeah, I'm grumpy today. And I think we even had we had a text a while ago. I should have found it for this video. It would have been funny. It was something about grumpy TFs or TF grumpiness or grumpy TF moment. We just made a joke about it. It was really funny because we discovered we were both grumpy and we didn't really even know why. But one was feeling the other, and we didn't know who was really the grumpy one and who was just feeling the other one.
I didn't have any idea what was triggering me.
No, it was just funny.
I was grumpy for no reason. I was going, what's wrong with me? Like, what do I need? Do I need a glass of water? Do I need a chocolate bar or something to perk myself up? I didn't know what was going on. And I found out that she was all grumpy, and that relaxed me a bit. I almost cheered up. Yeah. Almost.
And we've had that with anxiety, too. I've texted you just like about a month ago, and I said, I just feel like there's something weird going on energetically. I can feel something, and I don't know what it is. And I just feel like I'm on pins and needles, and I'm waiting for something to happen. And you were like, yeah, I'm feeling the same thing.
I think you were questioning whether or not you were feeling something that was coming from me or something that was just coming from the universe in general.
Yes. And you validated that you were feeling the same thing.
Yep. Yeah. It was very, very little to do with us, and mostly about the static environment around us.
Yeah. But am I aware, like, when you're thirsty or when you have a headache or when we weren't together. Some people know when their twin flame is having sex with someone else.
Yeah,
God,
I've heard
I'm
that.
grateful I've never experienced that. I'm sorry for those of you that do. Maybe it's not that horrible of experience, but it's not something I mean, we're happy to share and talk about each other's relationships, but I don't want to experience it at that level.
No,
so I'm grateful that we never have.
Glad we never had to go, oh my God, she's with someone tonight, and I just feel all sorts of varying energy that I don't want to feel. No. Didn't have to live through that. No. Very happy.
Very happy.
I'm sorry to those that do feel it.
Yeah, that must be brutal.
Yeah, it would be.
As far as telepathy, yes, we just shared actually in our last story video, I think it was our last one, that you started talking to me in my head, and I'm like, what the hell is this? What am I hearing? What's going on? And so, yeah, for me, it started back in 2014, I think spring or something, whatever it was of 2014. I had just discovered we were twin flames, and only maybe a month later, and I hadn't even read telepathy was a thing. So all of a sudden I have him talking in my head, and I'm like trying to figure this out, and it was weird. It was really weird. But now it's quite natural for me. I just talk to him in my head much like I would if he was sitting right beside me. It's super fun. I love it. It doesn't work that way for you, but that's okay.
No, apparently I talk quite nicely.
Most of the time. You totally do. Yep, and I get all sorts of answers from you. It's great fun.
I just have to get by with general feelings.
And that just shows how we're different, you know?
Yeah,
we're not always connected the same way.
The Matrix twin just has to put up with whatever they have.
Oh, that's rough. You poor thing, you. Did we answer all the questions on that?
I think we did okay.
Do you feel each other when you're not together? Yes. Oh, shared dreams. I thought there was something. I only remember one somewhat shared dream. It was a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago now.
Yes, we did.
Do you remember which one it was?
Yeah, we had we had a train dream together. Yes.
And it was funny. One of us was inside the train, riding inside the train, and one of us was on the roof of the train outside.
I'd be the one inside.
And I think I was outside because I remember we were going through a tunnel, and I was like, how am I going to not hit my head or scrape my body going through the tunnel? It was just a strange dream.
I think we woke up and talked about that one on a Sunday morning, because I think it took us a long time to dissect that one out.
And then I even had to Google what do train dreams mean, because I wanted to know, why are we both dreaming of trains? And it meant you're going on a journey. And interestingly enough, for our honeymoon, we did take a train ride. So it's funny that we had but that's the only one we've ever had, I think. We've never had any other shared dreams that we know of, that we
don't think
remember. So. Yeah. They're fun, though. It's really cool. I'd like to do that more.
We remember little snippets from past lives, but not from dreams.
No, not yet. Hopefully more.
All right.
Okay, so I think we're there now. I'll help guide you.
Well, that's a little bit hard. I'm trying to put the question together. When one twin is in the heart center and the other has their heart chakra closed, do you marry the closed twin or wait for the closed heart to open? Wow. I almost have to read that one again. I'm going to have to read that question 3 or 4 times. Did you actually get the gist of where that question was going?
Yeah. So
probably because she read the question first.
Yeah, well, yes. And I mean, I've had these questions for weeks now. I remember I'm the one that copies and pastes them into a Word document. So, yeah, I've seen them all before. So how I understand it is this person feels like they're aware, awake spiritually, but their twin is not. But obviously they have some sort of a connection because they're asking, should I marry this person? Even though they're not awake, they're not aware, their heart chakra is closed. So they're saying, do I marry them or do I wait?
Yeah, okay, that's kind of how I was reading that too. Do you give them time to open their heart, to open their awareness, or do you just marry them first and then give them the time?
Yeah. So do you want to answer that first? Or do you want me to?
I would be very concerned if they never opened up and never accepted the concept that they were a twin after marriage. Like, what if you know that you're twins, but your twin refuses to acknowledge it after marriage? That would be a hard one to swallow.
And that's a good answer, because it brings up another answer that I hadn't thought of already, is expectations. What are your expectations? If you marry them, are you expecting that they're going to wake up? Are you thinking that if you marry them, that will help them? Let's leave the twin flame whole dynamic alone for a minute and just talk about marriage in general. You know what they say, don't marry for potential, marry for what's already there. Classic women, we like to think we can change our man. Let's all marry them and then I'll get them to change this and change that. If they're not in a place where you're happy with right now, you got to marry knowing that the person that you're marrying right now could be the person forever. So just be clear on what feels good for you. Is, again, I'm going to use my regular answer. You got to go within on this one. Nobody can tell you who you should marry and when you should marry. That's something you have to be comfortable with for yourself. So what feels good for you?
As much as I'm not supposed to tell anybody what to do, I would very strongly advocate that you don't blindside somebody with the twin flame concept after marrying them. That could be way too much. If it's way too much for them, they could just immediately turn around and run right back out of the relationship. I think you've got to give them some warning before and this goes back to Angie's thoughts of expectations. We have, as twins, we almost can't avoid expectations. Because having a twin flame is supposed to be something different than just having a regular old relationship, be it a soulmate relationship or not. And as soon as you expect something different, there's the word. You have expectations. So, yeah, you've got to be open and very honest, especially with something that someone might need some time to grow into, to understand, and get comfortable with.
Yeah. So I think it's one that you need to do some soul searching and determine what feels right for you and how comfortable you are with this person not knowing, or with you accepting that their heart is closed. So yeah, it's a tough answer. There is no right answer. There is no right way to go about it.
About a year and a half ago, I wrote out a chart of twin flame levels of relationships. And it started out as people who are twin flames but have no idea that they're even twin flames or even twin flames exist. And then one is aware that twin flames exist and the other one isn't. And then eventually you get to different levels of relationships, where the last relationship is two people are completely aware and understand twin flames and understand that they're each other's twin and they want to be together, which would be the closest, I suppose, of the twin flame relationships. So the varying levels throughout that, I think that it didn't start to get past even the second or third level, you couldn't really have a connected relationship until both people were at least partially aware. Then there was lots of different connection levels after that. So, gotta give them a chance to catch up.
Yeah.
Next question?
Yep.
When the messages you received from above didn't bring the outcome you had expected, there's that word again.
Yes.
How do you still have faith in angels and follow their words? Okay, I'm not the angel person, but I would like to talk about angels.
I was surprised when you're like boldly diving in. I'm like,
yes,
I'm the angel person.
Okay,
go ahead.
Watching Angie and her angels for about half of the past 20 years, because there was a lot of time where I didn't have a chance to have that understanding.
Come here.
We have a dog that's become very curious in us all of a sudden.
Yes,
you may see bumping and jumping
Say
around.
Hi. There you go.
There's Cookie.
She needs to be famous. Crazy dog.
Okay.
No, don't go snoring in everybody's ear again this time.
Hey, we actually gave her a piece of bone to chew on to keep her occupied, so at least there wouldn't be snoring in the background. We hoped.
Yeah. Now you're distracted.
Angels. Have faith in angels. Okay. When you have spirit guides are sometimes, in fact, often going to speak to you in ways that you're not going to understand. Spirit guides are there to help you grow, and sometimes the only way to help you grow is to speak in a language that makes no sense to you and let you learn about what they were saying or trying to teach much later when the experience catches up to something that you can re-relate to or have grown into.
If you're wise enough to understand that at the time you're getting the message.
So, yes, when you're receiving messages from spirit guides, angels, you don't be too concerned if it doesn't make sense. File it away for future reference. And then get back on with your level of intuition that you have. Oftentimes that future reference will come back. Angie had to learn that many times. Why this? Why that? Why pour energy into Rob right now? It makes no sense. He's looking to run away. Why do I need to give him more energy? Well, part of my learning process was to learn from your energy. And that eventually turned around and came back.
Yeah. I think also, like in regards to how do you keep the faith and keep following, it's certainly not your conscious self. At least it wasn't for me. I didn't want to. I thought it was complete bullshit. I'm like, you little feathered friends, and I used a different word than friends.
Friends.
Different word,
same first letter.
Yes, I used to call them my FFs for feathered friends, and then when I was mad at them, FFs became a whole different thing, which we won't say.
Feathered something else.
Thank goodness they're love beings, and they don't get offended when we swear at them. But it certainly wasn't, I didn't want to believe. I was fed up with their stuff that I thought was complete crap. But it's much like this journey, you want to get off of it sometimes. You want off the roller coaster and you can't because your soul is dragging you if you're going kicking and screaming or not. Same thing with the angels, you get up the next day and you keep going because what other choice do you have? And also for me, part of it was just grappling to hope. I mean, sure, even though I wasn't believing what they were telling me and I wasn't believing because it wasn't happening. I mean, sure, they said you're not going to falter, and I ended up going broke and losing everything I owned. Well, in their idea, that wasn't faltering, and it really wasn't. But in my idea at the time, it was faltering big time. So, was I happy? No. Did I continue believing? Yes, because I was desperate to find hope in any way I could. And also, there's an energy to them that, even though you might not consciously feel it, you feel it on a different level. And somehow there was an energy to them that I couldn't not believe. So it's if you can hear their message from your higher self, from your soul self, that helps. That really helps.
I like the word faith.
Yes.
Do you still have faith in angels? Faith is a perceived understanding of the unknown. When you don't know for sure, but your inner intuitions, your inner feelings still cause you to wish to follow the path. That's called having faith. And whether you have faith in angels or faith in twin flameism or faith that the sun's still going to come up the next day, it's all about still remaining comfortable. And usually you gain faith through what you would perceive as positive experience. That's when you learn that trust. Faith and trust are similar. If you have faith in your angels, you have trust in your angels. If you have faith in your spirit guides, you have trust in them. And for something so deep to have faith in a spirit guide of some type, it's a commitment. It's like a almost till death do you part, or through thick and thin. Sometimes it's not always going to work out, and you're going to have to exercise your forgiveness. So if something doesn't bring the outcome that you expect, but yet you've had some faith in what would normally turn out, I think that goes back to this, to your own strength, your own ability to stay the course and remain faithful to what you believe. So if your faith is really being shaken many times, is it your faith in your spirit guides, or is it your faith in yourself, in your own ability to live through tough times thick and thin?
That's interesting. Okay. Now the same person had a different question.
Yeah. Once in a while we get more than one question from the same person. They say. Who is this they? Who is they? The collective they. Okay. The collective they say that doing inner work is the only way for TF union. When one immerses oneself in their 5D connection with their twins, does this mean that they're not focusing on themselves and are delaying union?
Can I answer that?
Okay, I only have one word, so you've got many. Go ahead.
Oh, you only have one word? You can go ahead then.
Balance.
Oh, that's a good word.
Balance. Balance between 3D and 5D.
Okay.
Your turn.
Okay. I love this question only because it was very much my experience. We haven't shared all of our story yet about this, which, by the way, little side tangent, for those of you that are watching our story videos, we were supposed to do our regular story video on Sunday, but life just didn't work that way.
Mother's Day got way out of control, and all of a sudden it was dark.
Oh, way out of control. I like that. And I just wrote a post on Facebook about this yesterday, about, the fact that I'm not really good at surrendering. It's not my biggest strength because I'm a very task-oriented, planning kind of person. But I had to let go and accept that it just wasn't the divine time to do that video. So we will carry on this coming weekend with the rest of our story. On that note, this question relates very much to our story that we're sharing right now. For 6 months, I was guided very, very intensely to work with Rob in 5D. So I was connecting with him in 5D. We were also connecting in 3D, talking nothing much more than about license plates. For those of you, again, that are watching our story video, we just shared in our last one how we started connecting over some crazy, bizarre license plate game. So in 3D, our communication was just about license plates. That's it. It was really depressing for me because I was thinking, is he getting this at all? Like, I'm having all this amazing stuff happening in 5D and all this connection, and I'm not seeing any of it in 3D. But the 5D work was huge. It made such a big impact. So I personally think doing 5D work is fabulous. Like Rob's saying, a balance, yes. You can't stay all in 5D because we are human. We do have a body. We need to be in this physical earth. But no, if you're connecting with your twin in 5D, that's fabulous because 5D is truly what reality is. The 3D is the illusion. Most people have it backwards. But 5D is where we connect because that's where we are all one. So great, do the 5D work. Bring it on.
5D work tends to come when one has really gained a lot of confidence in where they're at. I'm going to go back and read that question just a little bit again, a portion of that question. When one immerses oneself in their 5D connection with their twins, does this mean that they're not focusing on themselves? When one has the confidence in themselves, let's just say an upper 3D sense, where they're feeling good about their day-to-day existence, that tends to be when they challenge themselves in 5D. Then when they're all a little bit shaken up and have grown a lot in 5D, then they tend to pull away from 5D and relearn that confidence that they had back in 3D. They tend to settle down and take their new lessons to heart and learn how to apply them in a more balanced way, and then when they get bored with being balanced, then they go ahead and re-challenge themselves again in 5D.
That's funny.
So when you're all of a sudden having a chance to connect in 5D with your twin, that usually means that you've developed enough, both 3D and 5D, that you're ready to connect with your twin. So it would seem very common for me, very normal or natural, that if you have an opportunity to connect with your twin, dive right in with both feet, because chances are you've had to work to get to that spot.
Yes.
So chances are your development of yourself is already at a stage where you're not going to hurt yourself. You just might be a long time before you're back and continuing to grow on a more conscious level again.
Yep.
So if you got that opportunity, go for it.
Absolutely.
You've earned it.
Yes.
And no, I don't think it would delay union. No. That's when you start to connect with your twin at whatever level, whether it's working or not, just connecting with them, you're closer to union. It doesn't give you how long of a trail it's going to be.
Yes, so true.
Or how rocky it's going to be.
Yes.
But you're closer. Okay. Oh, we're right here, aren't we?
Yeah.
Well, it says, thank you, Rob and Angie, for taking the time to do another Q&A. You're welcome. Well done.
Thank you. Wasn't even time. Wasn't even planned.
We didn't rehearse that. We didn't rehearse anything. Oops, just said it again.
Oh, you're funny.
How did each of you feel when reunion was around the corner? The opportunity for reunion, it was sort of like a vortex. When you're on the outside edge of a vortex, you have no idea what's in the middle of that whirlpool.
Rob's analogies again, so perfect.
So you whip around that vortex, you're just out there going around, and all of a sudden you get sucked into the middle, and zoop, down the vortex you go. It's not until you hit the middle of that vortex that you even realize that reunion was around the corner. So here we are, we're getting closer and closer and closer over a year or 2 or 3, and then in just what seemed like a blink of an eye, it went from I wonder if we could maybe get together, I'd like to think about it for a while, from that thought to, oh my God, we are getting together, was bam, 2 weeks, thing after whatever, change, and all of a sudden, there it was, right there, right in front of my face. We're going to get together. I'm not going to leave Karmic 2 and go live with the guys for 6 months and then see whether or not we want to get together. I was still very unsure. And then, bam, I was not so unsure. So how did each of you feel when reunion was around the corner? Well, until it wasn't around the corner and right in my face, I felt still relatively distant. I was still oftentimes thinking about what had happened to us the first time around and was actually quite insecure about that. Having believed that relationships break up for a reason and that reason doesn't go away, it really took a really strong nudge from the 5D side to convince me that, no, we're headed back to union, and it's right now. So I didn't have a chance to look at it and analyze it. It just hit me like a ton of bricks right away. So I don't know how that feels.
Yeah, because, like you say, we didn't really know. For me, because I was more aware, and we won't talk too much about this because we haven't shared this in our story yet. It's coming up very soon.
Yeah.
In the next couple of videos.
Next couple of videos, we're going to run over this in detail.
Yes. But because I knew I was reading like tons of twin flame stuff, so I was learning. I knew how it was supposed to go, but I was leery because, much like you, because of our past, I was like, I was terrified to tell him any little thing, any little detail, because I'm like Mr. Afraid of Spirituality, he's going to run away again. So it was scary, it was exciting, but it was scary too, to be quite honest. every day it was like, okay, is the other shoe gonna drop? When's he gonna text me? No, I'm not doing this. I'm out. Goodbye. I expected a lot of that.
You did.
Yep.
You really did. You were living in fear for months.
Yes, fear and excitement. There was both, but yes. Yep. We'll get more into that in our story later.
Angie is not a fear and excitement person. This must have been destroying her.
It was confusing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
Are
right,
we changing pages?
Next page. Our goal is to try and get through both pages. I'm not so certain, but we're going to try.
Well, okay. Someone says, so much of your story is so similar to my own. You obviously loved each other. So I'd like Rob's perspective.
Oh, look at you get a turn again.
Here I go. On why he chose to be with the other karmics and not Angie. I don't even know if I want to read the rest of the question because I already have an answer. What was Rob thinking? Lots of people ask what I'm thinking. What was Rob thinking,
what that masculine's thinking
during those years that made him choose someone else? This is where I always seem to be with my twin. There is love, yet he chooses someone else. Thank you both. How do we condense 10 videos into 10 minutes of discussion? Well, congratulations that our story is so similar to your own, because it's very similar to many others, and this is why we have so much of a commonality between other people who haven't had a chance to connect with themselves and also through us. Yes, we loved each other. Why did I choose to be with other karmics? Is because we were not anywhere near in the same space.
No.
We were 3D and 5D, not anywhere near. I still strongly believe that we had a very strong respect for each other. We had a strong curiosity. But in some ways it hurts so much. It's like having a curiosity about a scorpion walking across the desert. It's a very curious little bug, but you don't dare get anywhere near it. because all it's going to do is sting and hurt lots.
Oh, I was a scorpion?
Well...
First I'm a stamp on your hand in the last question answer, and now I'm a scorpion?
Okay, you didn't...
Carry on. It's okay. Don't even explain that. We'll
Muhammad Ali. Fly like a butterfly, sting like a bee. That's kind of how our first time around was. It was very much all over the place. There was no stability. There was no real good common ground for us to stand on. So I didn't have any faith that there ever would be, and it was very uncomfortable. Not that we didn't love each other, but there was just no way we could have a life together. Yeah, we were totally different directions.
Yeah. It's bedtime. I'm sorry, I'm yawning.
Just a little bit late. We were up very late. So, why did I choose someone else? Because I was drawn to. I met somebody who I had a lot more commonality with, and that instead of living in fear from day to day or week to week, that I lived with Angie, trying to figure out what was going on and why it was relevant and what had anything to do with us from what I was able to handle for a relationship. I chose someone who I had some commonality with that still stretched my boundaries. My boundaries, especially spiritually, and I was eventually to learn that those boundaries being stretched by someone who I had commonality with allowed me to grow from within the relationship as opposed to trying to look at something from the outside and figure out what's on the inside. Eventually that growth from the other karmic relationships allowed me to look at Angie more from the inside of our friendship and then the inside of our relationship as opposed to the outside. So I didn't consciously choose someone else for a growth purpose, but it certainly worked out that way. So that was another Another nudge from the divine.
Yep.
Your turn.
You answered that perfectly.
Okay.
We just weren't in it didn't matter how much love we had for each other, we just weren't in the right place. We drove each other nuts. We're not balanced, so we couldn't connect. There we go.
Yeah, our screen just went blank. It probably didn't for you.
No, it usually doesn't.
Yeah, probably means, yeah, hey,
It means
means
we've
an
been an
hour.
hour.
We've been an hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it means we have to talk faster and less.
Disagree. Having tons of fun. This is fun.
Yes, it is. It's always fun doing these.
Next question?
Yeah.
Is it true to say that as twins, we mirror each other in every way? In a lot of ways, for sure. Probably the deeper and closer you get, the more the mirrors show up.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm struggling with my karmic situation, is he also struggling with his in the same way as me? Oh, that's interesting. That's more about two people looking into two mirrors and both struggling similarly, as opposed to looking at each other and seeing the other person as a mirror. I've never thought of it that way. Like, for example, if I'm sad, is he, etc. Do you get my drift? Maybe. I've got a drift. I hope it's the right one. It's just that I'm more conscious recently that my behaviors and struggles, be they good or bad, can affect his behaviors and struggles. So is it up to one twin to break the chain? If so, if I left my karmic, would he follow suit? That last little bit changed directions completely. I think the question actually got to the point of why the question was being asked.
While you think, or are you ready to go?
No,
okay,
I'm still.
While you think, I'll answer.
I'm still thinking about the dual mirrors. This is interesting. I'm going to have to absorb that.
Oh.
I'll try to pay attention to her answer while I'm thinking on the inside of my head.
Okay.
I'm trying to get a feeling for it. More
so
feelings.
How mirroring works, it's not that every single thing that is going on between you two is identical. For example, when we were apart, I went through huge amounts of challenges. I was going through counseling and courses and classes and working, and he was having fun climbing mountains and traveling, and he was still growing, like we've shared in our past videos, but our lives externally looked very, very different. So were we mirroring each other in that way? Absolutely not. How mirroring more works is what's needing to come up for healing, what is being triggered. So if you're seeing in your twin, oh, he's such a jerk, he doesn't talk to me, he won't reply to my messages, then it's more about going within and finding out, what am I not willing to communicate to myself? What am I not willing to express? What am I not willing to say? Stuff like that. So mirroring is more about the trigger stuff that's going on rather than every single 3D thing that's happening in your life. As far as if you want him to leave his karmic partner, should you leave yours? Or if you leave yours, will he leave his? Very, very unlikely. It does not work that way. We can't, certainly, whether we're conscious or not conscious of it, manipulate our twin by saying, okay, I'm going to do this so he does this or she does that. It does not work that way at all. Your twin will leave their partner when they're ready to, when they've gotten the lessons from it, and when it's time for their karmic and them to no longer be together. If you leave yours and you're not ready to, you'll either just attract somebody else that's going to give you those lessons, or you'll end up coming back to the same karmic partner. So be sure that you're doing what you need to do for your own growth and your own healing, rather than it being about doing it to get some sort of reaction out of your twin or to get your twin to do something as well. Also, feeling sad, yes and no. Like, sometimes you're feeling what they're feeling, so if you're feeling sad, you might be feeling theirs. But oftentimes, again, in our experience, he had a great happy-go-lucky life, whereas I did a lot of 3D work. So I don't think we mirrored each other in that way at all.
No, not really.
No.
I got a slightly different take on mirroring. Mirroring often causes almost similar feelings between twins at the same time. And if one twin is struggling inside themselves, trying to figure themselves out, and the other twin, let's say, is struggling in their karmic relationship, just because you're struggling together does not necessarily mean that you're mirroring.
Mm.
It just means that you could be commonly struggling at the same time. Also, another thought. I see where this kind of is going with this question, and I like it because I got a couple of comments on it. I'm going to read a bit of that question again.
Okay.
I'm just more conscious recently that my behaviors and struggles, be they good or bad, can affect his behaviors or struggles. So is it up to one twin to break the chain? If you're both struggling, and then it says, so if I left my karmic, would he follow suit? That sounds like leading by example.
Mm.
I can make this move to leave my karmic. Are you brave enough to do the same? It's almost like a challenge. And when you start dealing with bravery and challenge, you've stepped right back into ego in 3D.
Yes. Yes.
You're
very good way to put it.
Yeah. I would much rather hear that one twin becomes ready, and when the twin that was lagging behind, let's say, asks a question like, are we ever going to have a chance to be together? As, let's say, the following twin, the one that's trying to catch up, asks that question. Then that means that both of them have stepped into a position of being able to make a decision together, or at least at the same time, that would make themselves available, as opposed to one challenging the other by leading by example. Not saying that leading by example wouldn't work. I just don't know if I could call it the desired route.
I think it depends what the intentions are in leading by example. If your intentions are of a higher, more honoring place, then it's great. But if your intentions are more of a manipulative, or even of a, if I go first, will you jump too kind of thing, that's not going to work so well.
I think you'd find that most twins that have come together that started out apart or in very difficult situations for whatever reason, I think most would admit that there was divine timing and a lot of intervention law, like far outside of conscious thinking, that allowed opportunities to come up that maybe then a person would be able to choose. But most people just don't say, hi, we're twins, let's just get together, and life just all happens that way. There might be a few of you out there. I haven't heard from you yet. I'm already trying to read into the next question.
Yeah.
Did you have any more comments?
No, I think we're at the next question.
Oh boy. If my twin is going through dark night of the soul and a very difficult dark time of transformation, will that affect my life as an empathetic grabbing onto his energy where he is fighting himself to keep away from the union? As much as I know my twin is very stubborn, and I feel that he is resisting the union. In that case, what option do I have? Please help me with your opinion. Going through the dark night of the soul. I can't speak from experience. I have never been in a real dark place. I don't know. I don't really know how I can even word this without sounding a little too high and mighty, I'm struggling with ego in this answer. But I've always had a very, very slow and steady growth in my spirituality, so I've never really challenged myself beyond my ability to cope with myself. I've always enjoyed the growth, but I've never been just so depressed through lack of understanding or having outstretched my bounds to the point that I've ever reached a point of darkness. I've never had to fight through that level. I don't feel qualified to comment on the question for that reason.
Well, I sadly feel very qualified to answer that question because I've been through it more times than I'd like to admit. Man, when you get to the point of being suicidal, it's pretty dark night of the soul-ish.
And when you push yourself that far, look what you get.
Hooray,
you get
come
to
out
not,
the other end.
You get to not be the Matrix twin.
Oh, you're funny.
Oh. You got to respect where you're at.
Absolutely. We all have our own journey.
I don't mind where I'm at all.
So let me just... Okay, so she's concerned about...
Will that affect my life as an
feeling...
empath, grabbing onto his energy?
Okay.
Probably.
Yes. However, you can change that, by the way. We're at 111.
Oh.
I just thought it.
Yeah, we're getting ready to cross 111.
Yeah.
Nice catch.
You can point that out while I talk.
111.
We do this every day, so this is normal for us. We text each other at 11:11 and 1:11.
Every day.
We're funny people.
When we can, or if we miss, we just text, oh, I missed. I was busy at work.
Yes. So yes, being an empath, you're going to feel it. However, the more you learn about being an empath, the more you learn that it's a gift and not a torturous thing, that we can use it as a skill. So when you feel his stuff, if you feel his stuff, you can then turn it around and work on things in a 5D connection to help him. You can, if it feels right in your connection, send him love, send him energy to just help him through it. Again, that's not for everybody's path. That was for us. I was very much guided to do that with Rob, is to send him love. I was guided even pour love literally into him in a 5D way and see it dissolving through every cell of his body, every organ of his body. So again, just within your own connection, feel what's right for you. Feel what is the best for you to do. If you should just leave him alone, or if you should assist him in higher realms. But if you feel it, also work on yourself. Learn how to heal yourself and balance your own energy so that you don't feel it as much, because it is his and he needs to go through it. And it might be of disservice to him if you're there sort of in 5D rescuing. If you're going to go to it from that sort of an energy, it's not going to work. So I think there was another piece of that question though too.
Well, this question's got me racing all over the place. I could spend a half an hour re-asking that question in different angles.
I feel he's resisting union.
Is he fighting himself to keep away from the union? Keep away from the union. Resisting union. Does going through the dark night of the soul mean that you are resisting anything, or are you just having to just deal with stuff?
Yeah.
Is going through the dark time a purposeful time, other than just learning how to get through it?
In my opinion, the dark night of the soul is very much part of the process for a lot of us. And it's great, even though he may be on a 3D level resisting union. Dark night of the soul is clearing out a bunch of that crap that needs to go so he can embrace more light, which then will help him embrace the concept of union. So trust the process. It is a process, and sometimes it doesn't look like it is. Sometimes it looks like union's so far away because, especially when they're in the dark night of the soul, oh my God, all you see is the darkness and the purging and the tragedy and everything else that goes with it. But know that it's for a reason. We are literally having to purge everything, whether it's past lives, whether it's karma, whether it's family stuff. So much that's not even from this lifetime in this realm. We're even clearing out stuff for other people. So it's got to go in order for us to embrace the light. The more we let go of what's not serving us, the more we can embrace what is. And the more light he embraces afterwards will definitely help him release all that stuff about being stubborn of union. That will all start to evolve afterwards. So just know the dark night of the soul is actually a huge blessing in this process.
I'm going to do something that we have never done before.
I'm not surprised.
This question, this dark night of the soul, has caused another question to pop into my head, and I don't want to terrify anybody with this question. But I'm going to invent a question and ask it to Angie and let her struggle with the answer.
Oh, I get to struggle. Oh.
She's not going to struggle.
This is on the spot. Okay. I'm ready. Hit me with it.
I'm more concerned about how others are going to take the question, because I'm asking the question from a very dark point of view. I'm living inside of the darkness on this one, coming out.
Okay.
I'm going to imagine the question would go something like, I mentioned to my twin for the first time that we are twins, and it plunged my twin into a deep depression. It almost looks like my twin is now suffering from the dark night of the soul. Was I wrong to risk triggering the dark night of the soul by asking for, or by bringing up the thought that we are twins? Did I trigger my twin to end up in the dark night of the soul? Can that happen?
I think it absolutely can, but it's all for a reason. If it wasn't you that was going to trigger them, it was going to be somebody else. It's part of the process, and whoever's triggering who, does it really matter as long as you get the clearing that you need? And often it's going to be your twin that's going to trigger it, because that's what we do as twins. We go, oh, you have an owie there. Oh, let me poke at it. Oh, it hurts. Oh, good. That's
really
what we're
good
meant
at
to
that.
do. We gotta trigger it so it comes out, so we can get rid of it.
Sometimes you're going to get positive reactions when you bring things up with your twin, and sometimes you're going to get what you perceive to be negative reactions. I would be mostly concerned if you get no reaction whatsoever, because a positive or a negative reaction is still an opportunity for growth, where no reaction is just, in a lot of cases, remaining stuck. So if you drive someone towards a depression because now you've befuddled them and they don't know what to think about their lives because they're trying to figure out what twin flameism is all about.
I'm still stuck on befuddled. I like the word. Carry on. Don't get all distracted on the word. But... yeah,
I'm all distracted on befuddledness. I don't know where I get those words from.
I don't know either, but they're entertaining.
So, yeah, I don't know if I'd be too concerned about triggering people. And not every time that somebody is struggling does it mean that they're trying to keep away from union. I don't know if I'd dwell too much on that.
No.
I think that any form of growth is an opportunity to head towards union.
Yeah. And I think we tend to put too much focus on what's happening in 3D. Of course, because that's what we see. But they can be resisting union all they want. But if union's part of their path, guess what? They're going to stop resisting at some point, because it's just the way it goes. Their soul is more in control of this journey than their ego. And that's part of Dark Night of the Soul, is you're releasing the ego. It should actually be Dark Night of the Ego, because that's really what's happening, is the ego is dying. So bless Dark Night of the Soul, even though it sucks. Oh my God, it sucks when you're in it.
The ego is dying. The ego is being challenged.
Yep.
That's good words.
Yeah.
Well done. I like that. I get the feeling we're going to come back to something related to that question again, because that's a question that's worth a whole tangent talk.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So, it's nice to step into that one.
Yeah.
How are we doing for time?
We'll try and get through. We got 4 left.
That's a lot. That can be a lot.
That's true.
You take little questions
That's why
and
you
blow
talk
them
less.
up. Talk less?
Yeah. What? We don't know how to do that.
That's not why I'm here, is to talk less. Okay. How do you handle the karmic spouse who is not ready to let go of the relationship?
Yeah, Rob, how do you handle that?
Well, that's going to come up in our story videos, but
yes, it sure is. Oh boy.
my method was a little bit brutal. It resembles taking every cord of that relationship, bundling it up on the floor, and hitting it with a giant axe all in one big fell swoop. Cut. Boy, that went through the screen so fast I don't think you saw it. Cut. Okay. Sorry, I'm a little tired tonight.
We do our question answer videos at night.
Why do we do this?
We get goofy. You don't see this side of us when we do our story videos because we do them during the day when we're sane people. But we do them on a Sunday.
Sunday,
these we do on a work day when we're like
when we're only halfway through the hike.
Yeah. Okay, so dealing with a karmic partner
who is not ready to let go of the relationship.
It's a brutal one.
It's nice to think of your karmic person. Please do. But ultimately, when you're breaking a relationship, you're breaking it for yourself. And in a lot of cases, it's about doing it in a way that you survive, not necessarily that's going to be nice to everybody. Sure, strike whatever balances you need to. If you need to take on a bunch of pain so that your karmic doesn't feel it quite as bad, great. But in a lot of cases, from what we've seen with other people, the karmics don't want to let go, and sometimes it's not about finding a way to get them to agree to let go. Sometimes you can be fortunate that you were a little bit more fortunate than I was.
Well, yes and no.
I had to do the big, hard, heavy, brutal push to step away from my karmic relationship, and it felt awful, and it always will feel awful. I'll never forget some of those feelings. It felt bad, but it was the only way I was going to get away from that relationship. There was no easy way out. It was literally goodbye. We're done.
And know that is part of the karma sometimes, is the ending. Like for both of us with our karma partners, it was not pretty endings at all. But that was part of the karmic clearing, which we didn't know at the time, of course, because half the stuff you don't know as you're going through it. But yeah, just know that if it's not happening nice and smoothly, it could possibly also be for a reason. I would also invite you to search for higher guidance and find out, is it time to release this person? If it is, then you can also ask them in 5D to release in a gentler way. Because even though they're not your twin, yes, you still have or can have a 5D connection with them, because we can have that with everybody because we're connected with everybody and everything. So what I did is I meditated a lot and talked to my my karmic in 5D a lot and asked him to please let go peacefully. And I won't get into too much because we'll share this in our story video, but he's actually the one that ended the relationship on a 3D level without even knowing about Rob, knowing nothing about that. He's the one that came to me. So it does work. Just give it a try and see how it goes. But know that everybody's path is different, and yours might just be that there's more karma to clear. Who knows?
I don't want to use the word jealous or envious, but having the ability to talk to my karmic partner on a soul level was something I didn't really exercise very much. I tried to hope my way there. I tried to do what I could to try to keep pathways as clear as possible. But for me, it ended up being more of a 3D effort than a 5D effort, and there was just no easy way at my disposal at that time to get that done.
Oh.
Angie had other tools that she could use. I'm really glad for her that it worked out as far as getting away from her karmic relationship. it didn't let go very well.
No.
It
Still was very traumatizing for all involved.
Yeah, it was a long, slow, painful tear as opposed to a cut, splice, done.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know how you prepare anybody to let go of a relationship. That's a hard one. That's a hard one.
Okay.
Next question.
Yeah.
Have you found yourself running from the connection into goals, achievements, work, hobbies, relationships, even passions as a replacement for the twin or other form of running? And if so, why did you do it? What caused it? And what would you do instead now that you know this? Wow. I think I could almost speak with a little bit of authority on this.
I think you could.
Well, from a person who was a runner in reality, myself, into goals and achievements, let's say mountain climbing goals, work achievements, hobbies. 1,000 hours spent on putting together a rather elaborate train set. All these things to not have to be in full-time contact with my karmic partner. I don't know if they were deliberate distractions, but they most certainly were there. And if I needed them, they worked very, very well to the point that I didn't even notice that I needed them. Or as a replacement for a twin or any other form of running. Why did you do it? Didn't consciously do it. Felt good, so I did it. I wanted to run a marathon, so I trained to run a marathon. I always wanted to build a train set. Years and years and years and years and years of wanting to play. Maybe that was wanting to patch together some missing childhood. So why did I do it? Because I wanted to. It felt good. It was stuff on a long before I needed to have a bucket list. And what would I do instead now that you know this? I don't knock what I did, so I don't know if I'd do anything different. Sometimes a person does when they're in the middle of, let's say, a bad relationship and they've surrounded themselves with distractions. Maybe that is a time to pay attention to what you're doing. Somebody, through listening to this video right now, is going to go back and look at themselves in the mirror and realize that they've surrounded themselves with distractions because they're unhappy in a karmic relationship. But at the same time, you're doing what you're doing in a lot of cases because it's what feels best, whether it be for growth or survival. And if it's either one and you need to do it, don't stop just because you think it's not something you should be doing. If you need to stop with all the distractions and make some decisions in your life to either just keep on with the distractions or change something so you don't need the distractions anymore, spend your time doing other things, it's all decisions you have to ask yourself. Oh, there's that go within thing again.
Wait, that's my line. What are you doing?
Borrowed it.
I think we could wrap it up there. We could actually ask this last one, if you want.
Really didn't want to comment on goals and achievements?
No. You got that one covered all by yourself.
Angie is a perfectionist at work, and sometimes she loves to bury herself in work when she's got time.
I'm highly task-oriented. The more I get done in a day, the more satisfied I feel. But that is a detriment sometimes, too, because you don't allow a lot of flow for the universe, which is why I just posted this whole thing about flow and the Toni Braxton song that I was just hit with, which was really, really funny. But we won't get into that now. You can go read that post on our TwinFinity page on Facebook if you like.
So we're going to call this one Last Question?
Yeah, we'll do that one as our last question.
Is it often the case that after reunion, twins will go through some purging?
Yep.
Boy, you're going through a ton of growth. There's going to be, there's that big bucket again doing its digging. So yes, you're going to dig up.
Doesn't mean just because you get to union, everything's bliss.
Doesn't mean you've done everything you need to do. It just peels off another layer of that onion.
Yep.
That means after you spend some time with your twin, you can expect that you will suffer or have some advanced challenges in your life.
Possibly yes.
Possibly yes. More question here. Which also means if you don't want to purge and ascendant, which will often cause chaos in your life, you would better stay away from your twin. Somebody's over rationalizing out there. It's all opportunities for growth. You either buy in or you don't. Oh, I'm way too tired. I'm getting blunt. I'm sorry. Which also means someone's trying to connect a lot of dots here. I'm actually kind of liking this. If you want to ascend and purge, you can contact your twin and speed your spiritual growth. Oh, so it can go either direction. How do you tell that you are purging, or you are in a low period of your life, or you're just having some bad luck? There's a lot of questions in that question.
Yeah. Can I answer the first part?
Yes.
Okay. So you can try and slow it down by not seeing your twin, but it's not really going to work because good luck if you've already tried this. You know that you can try all you want to not see your twin, but when your soul is pushing you, you can't deny that push. It just, even though you want to. I mean, how many times have we all said, I'm never calling my twin again. I'm never texting them again. I'm not communicating. And then we block each other and we do all these, I'll say, stupid things.
Goodbye path.
Yeah,
I'm not stepping on that
not
trail
doing that
ever
anymore.
again. Done.
And then the next day you're back to talking to them. You're back to texting them. You're back to emailing them. You're back to whatever. Because you just can't fall off the wagon. You just can't not communicate. It's part of the path. So much the opposite. You can't speed up any of it either. You can't speed up union. You can't speed up ascension. You can certainly speed up growth. I mean, if you want to, grow faster and learn more, yes. But can you decide you're going to speed up the process of how you get to union, when you get to union? That's an interesting debate. Some people say yes, some people say no. It's hard to answer that because there's divine timing involved. You can push the river all you want, but sometimes it's going to push back and go, nope, not yet. But there's also times where you can grow faster and learn more. So I think it's all about, interestingly enough, from the post I just read, about being in the flow, honoring what is and allowing things to flow as they're supposed to be, not being like in a canoe in a river and holding your paddle, resisting the flow. So I'm like, no, I'm not flowing with that river, but not trying to paddle so fast that you're trying to flow faster than the river. Just go in the canoe and float down the river and allow things to flow the way they're supposed to flow. Hey, I used one of your analogies.
Yes, you did.
I was the analogy person.
The analogist.
That's not usually me.
No.
You're rubbing off on me. Thanks. You're welcome. Okay, your turn.
Does that mean that after you spend some time with your twin, you can expect that you will suffer from or have some advanced challenges in your life? I think it's all wide open to happen. I'll use my own example. I don't want to give too much away from our videos, but these next few videos that we're going to do of our journey are going to be talking about a very tough time in my life. In a span of 1 year, and not in any particular order, all these things happened, but I settled. Okay, the first one happened just before everything else. I took on a new job. Both my parents died. Blew up a karmic relationship. Took on a twin flame relationship, which damaged a bunch of friendships, some close friendships, gone, absolutely gone. I was harshly judged, lost some people that I very dearly loved in my life. All that happened, just to keep it simple, all within 1 year. So yes, getting together with Angie was just one of many things that were all blowing up in my life at the same time. I don't know how I didn't end up in a mental hospital. It was a really tough time.
Yep. And there was more to that we won't even get into yet.
Yeah, and then additional sub-challenges with interpersonal communications.
Karmic partners. Chaos, and yeah.
But also, there was some very, very happy times. First of all, getting back together with Angie was a huge leap of faith. We talked about that earlier. Second of all, my parents both got to meet her again before they eventually passed away from their long-term illnesses. And that was nearly beyond exciting. That was really, really good.
That was such an honor for me.
So, along with the challenges, also came a lot of blessings. So, and not that they tried to balance each other. I think the biggest takeaway that I can get is I'm really glad that I got everything all over with in one big, brutal year. Because if I spread all that out over years, yeah, that could have driven me off the edge of the dark night.
Yeah.
Became a challenge for survival inside of my own head. There was just too much going on. So, yeah, sometimes you get back together with your twin. It's not the only challenge.
Not at all.
Oh, yeah. I guess I could also throw one of the other life major changes. Had to move out of where I was living into someplace new. They talk about the big life challenges, changing jobs, changing relationships, changing where you live, even by death, and even buying new vehicles.
You had a lot of them, all
in a very short amount of time.
Yep.
Okay, from that point of view, yeah, sure, you're going to get together with your twin and everything's going to blow up. I hope not. Hopefully you don't have to deal with everything at the same time like I had to.
Not. Yeah. No fun.
Your turn.
Well, I think we kind of covered it all.
Don't worry about the chaos. There's lots of, do I bother getting together with my twin because it could bring chaos, or it could bring massive amounts of joy and happiness? Either way, spiritual growth, 3D growth. How do you tell that you're purging, or just in a low period of life, or just having some bad luck? Chin up. Chin up. Plow on through. Count your blessings. It's very hard to have everything be bad at the same time. Pick something that you know you can hang your hat on that's a positive, even if it's just the ability to go for a walk 2 or 3 times a week to some place that you enjoy walking to, and let the bad times disappear in the past. You know, good times come and go, bad times also come and go. You need to use some of that patience. And as bad times go, recognize them for what they are and let them slip into the past. And if new bad times come along to replace them, just be thankful. Is that a term? Just be thankful that you've got through some of the bad times that have now slipped into your past.
Yeah.
And know that your latest challenge will also not last forever.
Yep. And I think, just to clarify the last question, how do I tell if I'm purging or in a low period or just having bad luck? In my opinion, it doesn't matter. Everything, in my belief, happens for a reason. So if you're going through challenges, it doesn't matter why, you just are, and it's part of your growth. So see everything, like Rob's saying, as a blessing. Find the blessings in even the challenges, but also find the blessings in other things.
If you find a real life blessing, use it.
Absolutely. I mean, sometimes just even being grateful for legs. My brother, before he passed away, ended up paralyzed. So that made me very aware of, you know what, I'm grateful to have legs that work. I can walk anywhere I want, anytime I want. So there's always something to be grateful for, always. So when you look at everything as a blessing, even when it sucks, even when it's brutal, even when it feels like purging or bad luck, there's always a blessing, always. So see it as that, and it'll make it easier to get through it.
Cup half full.
Yep, absolutely.
2/3 full.
There you go.
It's one of those infamous ego challenges.
So on that note, we're much longer than we wanted to be, but we did answer all your questions. Hooray! And the next question answer video hopefully won't be as long as they've been, but we've been pretty much doing them once a month because that's just all we can do while we're doing our story videos. Our story videos take an enormous amount of time during the week to plan and organize and then to do. So once we finish our story videos, we will start doing more question and answer videos to do them more often.
And I think I'm going to go for a bike ride before I do these question and answer videos. I did that tonight, and I had a ton of fun with these questions. I really did.
You get all squirrely after your bike ride.
Yeah, I still got all this adrenaline flowing through me.
Poor people get to experience your squirreliness.
Hopefully it wasn't too squirrely.
On that note, I think we're going to say goodnight before we get squirrely.
It's an hour past our bedtime.
Yes.
And we stayed up really late last night.
Yes, we did.
And we stayed up really late the night before.
Yes, we did.
Sleep deprivation's a wonderful thing.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Good night. We love you all. Thank you for hanging in there for this long video if you did. If you didn't, that's totally okay too. We love you guys. We will connect soon again.
Bye.
Bye.